I have any additions or changes to the agenda?
Yeah, fine. We want to talk about, the open space plan, we'll talk about the display.
Open space is in
That's up there, but,
administrative
yeah,
items.
so we can throw that in.
Okay,
My conversation down.
okay.
Email.
Pat, do you have any additions or changes? Everybody's good? Accept the, motion to accept the agenda?
I make a motion to accept the agenda.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'd like to do a couple of quick things tonight. Some members of Troop 7, Scituate Boy Scouts are in the room, and we just wanted to give them some acknowledgement and thank you for your hard work on some of our projects. And you could probably fill the room with all the young men that have helped out over the past year, but maybe you guys, there's the troop leader, Mike Clancy, and then, I'm sorry, there's Sean, Nick Flanagan, and Nick's also a life badge member that, he got his Eagle now, but his life badge was the 7th to 10th Ave cleanup that it took the DPW a year to get all the trash out that you collected. There's Chris Clancy and Brian Stiles, who's wrapping up his project if I'd get my work done. Sean Stiles. Sorry, I'll get one of these right. Yeah, can you guys stand up for a second?
Say cheese. Thank you.
So who's not here tonight is Garrett Self, and Garrett started the Hubble Trail, which is a hiking path that's going to go from Indian Trail to Old Gannett Road, and Garrett started that piece, and then Chris was next.
Fred. Hey, you. It's like my dad, hey, you. Yeah.
And then Nick, and Sean's on the last leg, and he's going to be coming out on Old Gannett Road, so folks will be able to walk through the Hubble piece of property, which is a combination of some Scituate conservation land and CPC acquired property. And it'll be a great trail going through some ledgy areas. It's really pretty, and Mike was good enough to give a little bit of his surveying service and try to keep me on path. And I appreciate it. But you guys have done so many different projects in Scituate, between cleanups of different areas and your Eagle pieces. There's another scout doing Teak Sherman trail. So a lot of those projects just wouldn't get done if it weren't for your hard work. Derek O'Leary, I just met him the other day, and he cleaned up the Ellis parking lot, and he wasn't done a day, and I got emails from folks acknowledging that was done and how happy they were to see it cleaned up. So we're really fortunate that you're willing to take these things on, and we just wanted to say thank you.
Glad to do it.
Really appreciate it. Do you have a meeting tonight, or?
Not a troop meeting tonight. Next week.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for?
No, I'm just real thankful for what you guys have done, and I can't wait to get on the Indian Trail. I've been on the first section. I'm very anxious.
You won't even get lost, Penny. It's so clear you won't get lost.
Well, yeah, good, because I got lost once today.
Yeah, I can't thank you guys. I don't know where we would be if you guys weren't doing this, so thanks a lot.
I have a pretty good idea where we would be if they weren't
With no
doing all
trails,
this.
yeah.
But not only do you guys donate your time and you do it so well. I mean, the last work is so inviting. When people see something that's so nice and neat and well done, it's you just want to jump in and check it out. Thank you.
And access to places that other people usually wouldn't be able to get to. So it's a big plus.
Easier to find things. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. And we did this first so you can get out of here. We're not going to have to suffer through the back.
Say anything?
Anybody want to?
Do you guys want to say anything, or anything you want to add?
Say anything, yeah, if any of them have anything to say about it.
You're on TV, so this is a big moment.
I think we're just happy to help and, keep the projects coming because we got more scouts, so.
Thank you.
Sweet.
That we can do. Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Fenley ball field parking at Beaver Dam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Dan Fenley with Scituate Little League, and I've been before the commission before, so thank you for giving me time to come back again to settle a couple of issues I wanted to make sure before we went forward with the project. I won't take too much time, but as the picture tells the words, we had, I believe since the last time I was here, we changed the project fairly significantly, reduced the size of the new parking area in the outfield. So it's basically 20 cars that'll be facing the fence or toward the field and be located about 15 feet from the fence in the right center field with enough space for turnaround, etc. This area does not go into the woods. We may have to cut down one small tree that's kind of sticking out in one area, but the goal was to not go back into the woods. The 42 feet, which is required for the parking lot, goes right back to where the brush is cut, and the town had even cut further back about a month and a half ago or so. So we significantly reduced the original plan, took it out of the woods, put it on the grass area there, which does require us to move the batting cage to the new location, as you can see, which will be in center field. And then the other part of it would be to significantly improve the existing parking spaces, to put about 18 or 19 spaces in the front there with handicap parking close to the street, close to the field, and also to not change the nature of the area. There's a little entrance there that the neighbors call the gateway to their neighborhood, and they didn't want that changed at all. And they come in and help us clean it up. They do plantings there and things like that. So we're going to keep that area that currently exists, build around that, and we looked at about 19 spaces in that. So that's basically the change there. I don't know if you have any questions on that?
And our jurisdiction is where, Pat?
Out in the left fields,
Yeah.
like beyond the fence, out in left field and toward that parking, but it's mostly a graveled area now.
Yeah, so the concern I have, if you look at the picture and you look at the front of the parking spaces where it says 19 parking spaces, on the top of that parking area, there's a property border that runs along Thomas Avenue properties. And right where that property line is, I don't know if I call it a stream, but it's the remnants of a stream that runs through there. It's a little
Yeah, don't call it a
depression.
stream.
Pardon?
Don't call it a stream.
Okay.
It's a ditch.
Well, this is my question. So the reason why I came back was to question how, we're planning to keep it about 50 feet away from that, the dividing line where the depression is.
Okay.
Okay? And we
Swale
wanted
is
to
a good
make
word.
sure we were within conservation regulations in order to do that. We're also trying to use the space that used to be the parking lot, which is now covered with grass, but if you dig down, you can actually see the gravel parking spaces that used to be there and have now been taken over by weeds and grass and things like that. So my question was, is there a concern or what the distance would be close to that depression in the land where some water runs through occasionally?
Is it just a drainage swale, or is it actually?
You know, there's wetland vegetation, and there's a lot of debris in there now, but I think currently the disturbance is up to about 15 feet away in the gravel area, and I think we're trying to, conserve some of the trees that are there. If
Right.
some of those could stay, and then maybe get a cleanup of part of that, intermittent stream.
You think it's that? Is it that much? I mean, I've walked
There
out
is-
there
yeah.
before, and it seems like those neighbors all have like some pump discharges to the back of the
Yep.
property. And then there's a swale that sort of runs down there that picks up
Yeah.
some stuff out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And this is pre-existing area, right?
Right.
All right, so
Yeah.
the perimeter would be within the pre-existing area.
Yeah, in the area that Dan mentioned, that looks like grass, there is gravel underneath
Okay.
it. It was at one point probably all gravelled up to
It
that
was.
end point there.
And so what disturbance is 15 feet away from the X factor there would now be 50 feet away.
There wouldn't be new disturbance, but they
Yeah,
would be
right. It
using
would
that
be
area for
pulled
parking.
back a little bit.
Right. But if we could get some cleanup out there, maybe
Yep.
some of the
So
little
we
league
can
families.
we
There's a lot
precondition
of-
that?
There's a lot of yard waste from the neighbors that goes.
We have some scouts that can help, yeah. Yeah.
They got Boy Scouts, they got baseball players.
He gets involved with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes the what?
We got trails to clear, don't we?
Yeah.
That was really my, I wanted to update you on the project and then also clear up that question. And I guess the other follow-up to that is that determined by the engineering study that we'll do? Where that distance is that we can go?
Yeah, did planning board require a survey plan?
Yes, we intend to do
We
a,
can use the same plan.
Engineering survey.
Yeah, same plan that they use. If they want to talk to us about where the flagging of the wetland resource area was, we could help them with that.
okay.
So.
It doesn't show up on the wetlands map.
Right, a lot of,
Some
yeah.
stuff does.
But I'm not sure that.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that they've done too is there was a lot less tree removal required under this plan, because in the past, the first parking lot was going to be cutting into the woods in right field, and that's been reduced, eliminated really, so.
Pat, is there enough of a disturbance in that parking area? They're going to have to do some stormwater review?
Is the material in the area where the handicap access, is that the only paved, or is it going to be combination of paved and gravel, or?
Probably a combination of paved and gravel.
What's that?
I thought it said gravel.
It does say gravel,
It
but
is, I don't see anything that says paved.
Yeah, it's
It
gravel now.
doesn't say paved, but again, we're trying to figure out what the requirements were. So the original intent was to have gravel on the whole parking lot.
On the new
Make sure
parking
it's
lot.
compliant. Pardon?
On the new parking lot, are we talking now?
On both parking lots.
Okay, so you're gonna have handicapped in the new parking lot too?
No.
No.
just in the
Gravel,
front.
gravel on the
Yeah,
two parking
so
lots.
but no
that
handicap.
would be gravel, it would just
Yep.
be the existing.
Yeah, and because it's going through the planning board process too, they could take the lead on the stormwater.
I wouldn't think so.
is there a wetlands, I mean, I guess that we have to determine that there's a wetlands component.
Yeah, I mean, there's in the back corner on the left field, but planning board, sometimes the planning board is heavily involved in it, we let them take the lead on stormwater, like if there's 2-lot subdivision, 3-lot, they have to do a permit anyway, so we let them take the lead, so.
Yeah, because this is 42 feet by almost 200 feet,
That's a new
the
area.
new area, which is brand new.
Yeah.
Yes.
The combination of grass, and it's good, great that there's no trees,
But
but
it's
it is.
not, and it's not in our area, right? It's not an area of concern.
No, but it's still, I mean, they still have to make sure they deal with the
Yeah,
stormwater
right,
element.
Yep.
Yeah.
Planning can do that part, yep.
This is all preliminary, this still has to go through CPC and.
Yeah, it's like the dog park, we're working with planning around the parking area to see final plans.
And the swale that goes along the property lines on the left-hand side, that's around 50 feet away?
The one behind the street that's out in the outfield out there?
Yep, that one, and actually the one on the other side where the homes are. That swale that he was speaking about before.
Yeah, I think there's not going to be new disturbance any closer than what is there now. It's already gravelled, so.
And there is a parking area there, it's all gravel.
And it's been there for a long time.
So,
My brother's played Little League there.
so this is an informal, so you're just looking for some suggestions, eh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Penny, any other comments?
No, I've gone through it at CPC, and, you know, it's a much better plan than
Right, I
the
think so.
original.
The butters had a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm pleased, they had some really good suggestions that we took into consideration.
Great.
It will be a win-win.
Bill?
Yeah, no, I think it's a big improvement from the last one. And with, you know, those, just wrapping some of those parameters around it, I think will be great.
Lisa?
I like the idea that both parking lots are gravel, and working within, there's no new disturbance? Sounds
Yeah,
good.
no, I think it's great.
Any other comments? Is there anybody in the audience that had an interest in the parking at Beaver Dam Field? You didn't draw much of a crowd tonight.
The last question is, could I ask for a letter of approval or whatever?
Well, we wouldn't give you a letter of approval. I mean, we'd certainly
Yeah, conditional.
support it.
We'll support the idea of it.
A letter of
Yeah,
support,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
That's- Yes,
And then we'll figure out whether there's resource areas that we have to deal with.
sure. And I accept, it would be conditional on the final plan.
Sure.
Et cetera, engineering.
Basically, you're looking for this to go to CPC or whatever, just
Yeah.
saying that, you know, it's
We looked at it. and-
the concept.
Right.
Yeah, Carol will write you a letter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Frank still has some letters to write.
Okay. Thank you
That's a
very
lot,
much.
thanks a lot.
Thank you.
McCarthy, 10 Country Club Circle, garage bay, roof, deck. Do we have to, is it continuation for that?
Yep, they requested a continuous, say we get some new plans in, so.
Yeah, it's in your folder, a whole bunch.
For next week, yeah.
So do we want to
Okay, so
just,
we're going to continue that next meeting, the 14th?
is that what we decided to do? We rearranged that, so we're...
Yes, we are meeting on the 14th.
You only want to meet Christmas Eve?
No. Not that week. That's-
Okay.
Carol,
Okay,
did they say?
So I make a motion that we
Be able to-
continue 10 Country Club Circle.
Could I pose a question on 10 Country Club Circle?
Sure. And your name, sir?
I'm in a butter, Mike Duty, 6 Country Club Circle.
Yep.
It's more of a procedural thing. We were notified originally, and now I'm looking at all the old agendas. It seems to go back to October, which is when we would have received the conservation letter. What follow-on communication needs to go to abutters for every single continued meeting? Because I found out
None.
through Mrs. McCarthy knocking on my neighbor's door and my neighbor telling me that there
Sure.
was a meeting.
Once we start a meeting, and that meeting's been advertised and you've been notified, then it's really up to the abutters or interested parties to follow that. And it does get confusing because meetings can be continued, and sometimes the neighbor, or the applicant's good enough to get a list, or we can get a list of abutters and notify them. But typically, it's by coming to that meeting and then hearing what's been said, or if it might just be continued. And it is frustrating at times to do
It'll
that.
always be on the website too.
Yeah, I was just gonna, yeah, right.
Or if you have
So,
spare time,
what
you
was
can
the
watch
ti-
the meeting on YouTube and you'll hear what happened.
So now that it's been continued, there's no decision, no discussion
Right.
until your next
They're
meeting?
not here to talk about it, and we wouldn't
Okay.
discuss anything else, but we're gonna...
I'm on board.
Yeah,
Right
but
now,
hold on, and we can give you a time for next week.
Continuing 10 Country Club Circle, McCarthy, December 14th at 6:30.
Second?
We also have new plans that we
Aye.
received, and those are public record, anybody can come up to our office. Yep.
Okay? Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna recluse myself from the next hearing. Have you guys, did you guys buck up and decide who was...
Bill?
Yeah, Penny.
You didn't fuck up, you just pushed up.
I wouldn't even go through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really let them give anything new to say anything.
Okay. So. Lisa.
Yeah, I'm not even bringing a plan.
I'm just going over with Pat. Okay. Will you pass that then? Yeah. Yeah, right. No, we're just, yeah. I don't have to read anything, right? It's already open?
It's already open.
Yep.
23 Sunset Road.
Yes. Good evening, Gregory Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering, with the applicant's attorney, Chris Vine. Since the last meeting, the commission was to hire a consultant. I understand a selection has been made on a consultant. I've just provided Carol with the deposit for that review. I expect this to be a continued hearing. We're interested to know the timeline of the consultant to perform their services. We are getting into the winter months. We're hopeful it can be an expeditious review prior to any snowfall. We obviously haven't been in touch with him. We'd like to hear if there is any sort of schedule for that.
Yeah, I spoke with him this week. He's hoping to be able to get out there within the week. If he could meet out there and then maybe have a report for us next Wednesday, I'm not sure if that's possible, but now that we have guaranteed deposit account, we can get him moving on that and contact him tomorrow. I also have a sign-in sheet for anybody that is involved with this hearing. They want to put your name and address on there.
So, for those people that have been coming for this, we are going to continue it again.
Right. Is there anything else, Greg, that you want to?
No, I think what we would like to do is continue this to the first meeting in January. That would allow the consultant, it sounds like, time to go out and look at the site. It would then allow our consultant and myself to review his findings and make any revisions to the plan necessary, hopefully, for that January meeting. I think next week is too soon a time frame to really have a substantial conversation on this.
Okay, the other thing I'd like to mention too is the ownership of the parcels within the larger parcel. I mean, it's actually an incomplete notice of intent unless we have the names of all the owners on there. So, and has the larger lot been created yet, or is it still?
Right now, the property is made up of several individual lots. I did include a list of the deeds and owners for, I believe, all of the lots included in the notice of intent. I'd be glad to review that with you.
Yeah, do they have to sign off on that, the individual owners of each?
Well, I might be able to speak to that. Again, Christopher Fine, office in Braintree, Massachusetts, and I represent Paul Norton in his individual capacity as well as his capacity as the fiduciary for these two estates. And as the fiduciary, he speaks for those beneficiaries. But with respect to the other people who are identified on the notice of intent, I believe some of them are here today, they're identified in that as well.
Okay, and we'll probably have to run by legal counsel with the town just to make sure that they're okay with that.
Yeah, but we're okay for continuing to January.
Right, and before we do, I mean, there's a lot of people here that they may have questions, but what we'll be doing now is we have a lot of information from the past on this, from planning board decisions, zoning board, prior conservation commission files. What we're trying to do is to get started by identifying the parcel that needs to be reviewed, listening to the report from the wetland science side from the applicant, and then our person that will be hired as a wetland specialist will go out there and review that. So we're really looking at the wetland piece. We do understand there's a lot of other decisions made in the past, and all that will be reviewed. But we're starting by looking at the wetlands. And if you could all sign in, that'll have you on record as having attended. I don't know if anybody has any.
Yeah, can we take questions and then continue, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can, I mean, people have come if they have questions as to the process. We have a lot of the history. I wouldn't get into the whole story, maybe. We've got a lot of that on record, but that will all be possible at a future hearing.
Because those are the kind of questions people could ask at the next meeting.
Right.
When we actually open
But if
it
there's
up.
some general procedural questions, we'll take them now, and if you just stand up and identify yourself with your name and address, we'll do what we can. You all right with that, Greg? Yes, okay. So is there a question?
Well, I actually have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is this sign-in sheet going to be made available?
Yes, we have the one from the last meeting, and we can have the other one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because this had already been in the court system, we're making sure we have.
I think you're going to be able to start this time, yeah. Sure, go for it.
Carol Fitzgibbon, 3 Roberts Drive. I just have a question. Who, other than the expert for the wetlands, who makes the review of all the history? Is it the board, the commission here?
We will all review it, we'll be spending some time with it, and it'll be our legal counsel will get involved in this for the town. We've already, we have Murphy, Hesse, Toomey Lehane, and we have an attorney who was familiar with some of the past dealings on this parcel. And there's so much information we couldn't cover all legal people. We do have something submitted by you. It was after the last meeting, and it's public record. Greg, I think you got a copy of what was submitted. If not, I can get you a copy.
I'll need a copy.
And it was a history of what is going on the site, and that is part of public record.
And one other, is there a strong January date?
Yeah, we're going to...
Penny will be issuing that.
Once you're done, any questions? then-
Is there any other questions? Okay, so let's get that date for you.
Yes, continuing, Norton, 23 Sunset Road, to January 4th at 6:40.
Second?
6:40.
All
Do
in
I have a
favor?
second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice holiday.
Yep.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Is it out?
This sharing thing is easy.
Yeah.
No big deal. No fights.
Did anybody get the new dates for 2017?
Well, it was going to stick with the first and third.
All right, but I didn't know if there was any exceptions. You know how we get the dates, because...
Well, that's why we went with the first and third, since we're on a Wednesday now. Problem was the holidays.
Bill,
Yeah.
Frank better watch out.
On Monday.
Yeah.
What's the problem? How
Share
difficult?
stuff is easy.
Carol will send us out.
Yeah, she'll, like she did before, yeah.
And you guys can remind me every week. Do we have a meeting?
Well, Frank, it was funny, Frank emailed me, he said, now, when's the next meeting? He said, the 14th.
I stopped
And he
emailing
called
her
it,
because
yeah.
I get yelled at.
So procedurally, if there's an abutter or someone who's got standing is not here tonight, they don't receive any notice whatsoever.
No.
No, we only send out
That's it.
notices once. But they have access to the same information. They can Google the meeting minutes from the...
So, I don't know if you heard
here.
that. January 14th or something.
Yeah.
Have a nice holiday.
I want to go out there and talk, Brad.
Yeah, so do I.
I just wanted to make sure you could be available.
Yeah.
It's very important.
I have been involved in it.
Bill's looking pretty good.
Yeah, don't count on it. Don't count on it, just because I have a loud voice.
Oh, Frank, do you have this?
I don't even know which one this is for.
The plans, they're really light.
Is it, how do we say this? Marquardt?
Marquardt? Marquardt?
Marquardt?
Marquardt.
Marquardt? Come on up.
Just call me Hans.
Hans.
We'll keep it simple.
Can you close those doors, ladies, folks? Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
On December 7th, 2016, at 6:40 PM in the Town Hall, the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws, to amend the order of conditions under DEP file number 68-2491 regarding the application of Hans Marquardt to extend a deck on property located at 129 Turner Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thanks.
So he wants to amend the orders
Right.
already asked.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of as a quick, high-level view. Again, my name's Hans Marquardt. My wife and I have purchased 129 a number of years ago. We've been bringing it back from that ugly storm Nemo. And as part of that, we elevated this last year. And when you work, as you know, with the DCR and the FEMA and MEMA, they don't let you do additional projects. So this is the request to do the additional project to extend the deck to make it a usable deck. I have pictures here of what the house looks like, and I have plans. If I could show those to you,
Yeah.
would that help?
Yeah, Pat, is this the one we went down to see? You and I?
It's on Turner, Road where Turner turns up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick and
Yeah. Hans, before you go any further, do you have a butter cards on the?
I sent, I
Yeah,
have
he's.
these.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I have examples of the letters and the plans I sent.
Okay, because the ad did go in the newspaper, but we got to make sure that...
Oh, yeah,
butters
absolutely.
and- Okay.
Yeah, and I spoke at length with them about this and, made sure that they understood what we were doing. And it really,
Are there additional ones?
that's all I have. What else do I need?
Proof that they went to everybody within 100 feet off your property.
Oh, I just went left and right.
Oh, okay.
And we can't even reading it without the abutter cards.
So I need to speak with Jay
Yeah,
across the street
it's
as well?
not just literal abutters, it's a legal abutter thing, yeah.
Pat, do we have to do that for an amendment?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep, same type of filing as you do for a notice. It was in the newspaper, but it really does have to be everybody within.
So I will send a letter out.
There's a sheet that explains butter notification on that.
And that's on the website?
Is it? I think it is.
Yeah, so if you went to the assessors, and what's his footage? Well, maybe, but if they'll give him a list, right? Is it $10 or something?
You'll get your own list from the town.
If you go to the assessor's office and you tell them that you want a list of abutters within what kind of, 100 feet,
Okay,
he'll generate that list for you.
great.
We should
And-
have it too.
Yeah, well, if we have it, it's even better, but if
Sure.
it's been a while, that somebody could change the name or something, I think it'd probably be best to get the current one.
I don't think anybody's changed.
All right, well,
This is one of those areas where, it's 4 generations.
sure, but I mean, just
Yeah.
to save you some aggravation.
It'll give you an update, the date of what it is. This is an example of what it looks like, and you'll have a date in here.
And that's
So-
from the assessor's office?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. And then
Okay.
they'll confirm with you how far back you have to go on either side of the property.
So, probably, since this got advertised and a couple of people were notified, can we continue this hearing and let him get those abutter notifications out to the hearing the next hearing?
Yeah, actually, we shouldn't even be opening, but we can put it on hold until that comes in.
Well, I mean, he's advertised it, we don't want to run another ad in the,
No, right. We don't have to re-advertise, but we're really,
we're not going to take any information tonight until all the people that should have been properly notified are.
We're meeting next week, so that you should be able
well,
to get
it won't
Wait a
be
minute.
time for the
Oh.
mailing. Yeah,
Right.
so,
Okay, I mean, I will clearly get those out tomorrow, or as soon as I get the list.
what's the number of days, Cal, is it?
He's got to have proof of receipt. I mean,
Seven?
I have his list.
Oh.
What is it? 7?
Yeah, so it's not going to,
it won't be enough time.
So it would have to be January, I guess. Oh, my goodness.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's what you guys say. So, are we gonna open it?
we have to, I think we're
But
going
you
to,
don't wanna advertise it again?
right. So we're just going to continue this hearing.
Yes, I will continue.
129?
129 Turner Road, January 4th at 6:45.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, sorry about that, but we gotta have them.
Can I show you anyway, or is it not even?
No, we
okay.
can't take any
Oh,
of it.
can't, okay,
Right.
all right.
Who's got this, is this from your folder? Yeah, in fairness to, and I know that
It's
you
fine.
probably don't have anybody that's
No,
going
no, no,
to
no, right.
worry
Just,
about it, but that's the procedure.
No, I want to do it right. I mean, there's no question about it, clearly.
So if you just would get those pieces out, maybe get Carol the cards back right away and make sure you're all in good
Yeah.
stead, and then we'll go from there.
Great.
All right?
We'll do it, and we'll speak soon.
Hans, I would also run it by the building department too, because they, they've seen pilings that have gone in.
Yes.
This is gonna be a different setup with sonotubes and then wooden,
So it's the same sonotubes as the existing deck has.
right.
The home has the bigger
Right.
pilings.
But I would run it by them. There's a tightening of what is allowed, because what FEMA will allow under their grants, and then these staging of projects in succession. So building is getting a lot of new instructions as to how to handle these.
Okay, I'll check with them. We did have Bob Adams do the drawings. So
Right.
So the structural engineer.
Right,
essentially
exactly.
has done the drawings.
Yeah, I would just run those by Bob Vogel in the building department.
Okay, I'll check with them again.
Yeah.
They had initially looked
I
at.
think Pat's just giving them some direction to make sure they,
Send you over there.
Yeah, all right.
But, great, I will.
There's no holdup.
Okay, very good. And do you have a list or not?
Greg's got
Okay,
one.
I'll grab one, Greg.
You can get one from,
Okay, thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Are we going to hold these next two individually or jointly?
Lot 1 and 2 Summer.
And probably individually, just to keep it straightforward, I guess.
Greg, how do you pronounce this?
Stuartia?
Stuartia?
Yeah.
Stuartia.
Realty Trust Lot 1, Summer Street, new build. I was just saying to Pat whether we should open both of them. You've got them individually filed.
I do. You could do it either way. Both at the same time is fine with me.
Well, maybe if they're individual filings, we'll just do them separate. Lot 1, Summer Street, new build. On December 7th, 2016, at 6:50 PM, the Town Hall of Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of Stuartia Realty Trust to construct a dwelling, including a stormwater permit on property located at number 1 Summer Street, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Good evening.
Good evening.
just before we start, our
And your
neighbor,
name?
Chuck Garavedian.
Thank you.
122 Summer. Our neighbor, Doreen Close, who abuts the property directly, never got a letter in there. So I don't know if we should open this or not, based on what I just heard in the last hearing.
Okay. Let's take a look at the cards and see if she was...
Let's see if it'll give enough weight on your... Sorry. Good.
Cal, I gave you the white slips
Wetland.
back when we submitted this. I don't see her in the green card.
It's
I think I gave you the white slip.
Legends, anything?
Separate cover.
It's not being subdivided, but will remain as part of lot
I
3.
don't see any. Greg, did you do separate ones for each lot, or was it?
No, it was one notification for both lots.
And this is a Summer Street.
Address.
We don't have Summer Street. We don't have this plan over there.
That's right.
It just defines wetland and upland, it doesn't say
Yeah, I don't see.
50 or 100 or anything. So it appears everything between this and that line
This is all wetland in
is
the
all
middle.
wetland, yeah.
Do you have a?
So 50 feet off of that.
You can't tell from this legend, can you? I only saw this side. I don't think there's any lines. But it says, it does mention 50 feet right
Boundary of
here.
floodplain watershed drainage is shown as 50 feet from the brook and
There may be
elevation
another
100
plan.
on the map entitled Town of Scituate.
There may be some other plan.
Where's the brook?
Yeah, there must be. He's got another one on top of that.
Do you see a brook?
Yeah.
There's a brook off property running right here.
Okay. This is next to Yeah.
You have a copy of the butter?
So where's the house?
I think there must be more to this.
Yeah.
Start.
There's got to be another plan.
So.
This almost looks like an inlet plan to start.
Yeah, because
Well, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
Property lines, these property lines.
Some were certified and some were certificate of mailings, or?
No, they all go out. This is the receipt I get when I send it out. Sometimes the green cards don't come back, though. So
It's shown here and here,
It
yeah.
was sent out appropriately. She is on the list.
This is
to
certificate of mailing.
132. Yeah, it's certified
Oh,
mail.
yeah.
The green card never
It
came
is there,
back.
actually, that he sent it to her.
So if it doesn't come back, then there's no receipt of service.
They have to sign for it. Did she receive it?
They just have to send it.
They just have to send it.
You have to sign it. How do you just leave it?
You have to sign for it.
The requirement is that you obtain the certified list of abutters from the assessor's office and that you mail via certified mail to the addresses listed with the assessor's office. We did that. I provided the receipt to the close property. In return, when these property owners receive the notification, they sign a green postcard which gets mailed back to my office. Ms. Close, I do not have a green postcard from her. I don't know if she received it or not. I fulfilled the obligation of sending it via certified mail to her address, though.
We have that.
Right, that's the way it works. Yep, we have the card. So.
Okay. We're gonna, typically what we do is we have the hearing, the applicant presents his information.
I understand that, but if she did not,
But you know what, that's it. If he has the cards that they were submitted, that fulfills his requirement. If they want to, it happens fairly frequently. The applicant is required to send those pieces by certified mail, and then hopefully they get it back. But there are times when they don't come back, but that's not, their obligation is to collect all those. So, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, this will likely be a continued hearing as well. I will send a second notification to Mrs. Chase, Mrs. Close, excuse me. But I did fulfill the obligation. This is a notice of intent that we filed, and we had filed two, one for Lot 1 and Lot 2 on Summer Street. We're discussing Lot 1 first. What I've presented to you on the plan is an overlay of this entire property. This property is a little over 11 acres in size. It is being divided into lots 1 and Lot 2 via a Form A subdivision with the planning board.
Can I stop you for 1 second? When you're saying to 1 and 2, this is showing 4, so they're gonna end up being 1 lot and 2 lot. Are you using all the property?
Yes.
Okay, so eventually we'll see a plan that says Lot 1 and Lot 2 and all these other lots.
Correct. So I've provided you with those plans as well. I'll flip to that in a moment.
Okay, just wanna
So
not be confused.
So the big picture here, and should I put this over there?
Yeah, somewhere that'd be more visible, that'd be great, thanks.
The Form A is just a standard subdivision of the
This
lot.
plan's not reflected on lots 1 and 2.
It's not.
Divided in. So these are 1, 2, and 3.
No, okay, gotcha.
So the street.
If anybody wants to move around to have a better look,
So Summer Street is on the right-hand side of the plan. Out here, we had our wetland scientist, Brad Holmes, a professional wetland scientist, environmental consulting and restoration LLC, go out to the site and perform a wetlands delineation. This delineation showed us 3 separate bordering vegetated wetland lines. We start at the front of the property. A series. The middle swath of this property is the wetland. He delineated an upland island located at the B series. And then he located the other side of the BVW with the C series. So we have from Summer Street, we have upland land area until we hit a wetland, a large wetland in the middle of this property, and then again upland out of the back of the lot.
What's the scale on the map?
This is a 1 inch equals 40.
Okay, thanks.
Lot 1 is this property here, denoted by the black lines. We have proposed a single-family house located in this location up along Summer Street.
Okay.
I'm going to flip to the more detailed plan of that location. No work is being proposed at the rear of the lot, on the island, or in the wetlands. All of the work is right along the Summer Street frontage.
Okay.
This plan is the typical septic system design plan. We've submitted this to the Board of Health. We attached this with the notice of intent. Summer Street is at the bottom here. That wetland line, the A series, is in blue. Off of that is the 50-foot no disturb zone in red and the 100-foot buffer zone in green. What we've done, we've cited a new single-family house right here. The setback from that house to the wetlands is 56 feet. We proposed clearing to the 50-foot buffer zone as shown. We have access to a driveway off of Summer Street. We propose to take all of the roof area and direct it into a dry well in the back of the house as part of the stormwater mitigation for this project. Grading-wise, we've graded in a swale along the front of the property to direct stormwater from the front yard and from the side yard toward a grass depression, which would be in this lower corner of the lot. This property we measured, I know there was concern with respect to a river off-site. There is an intermittent stream approximately 200 feet away to the north. We measured to the culvert associated with that. We've confirmed it's not a perennial river. There was no riverfront area associated with it. We also reviewed the as-built plans for the properties across the street on Summer Street. Those had a wetlands delineation done back in 1996. I've taken that wetland line, overlaid that onto this property. It puts the 50 and the 100-foot buffer zones out in Summer Street associated with that line. That's off-site. The commission has chosen Lucas Environmental to review the wetland lines associated with this project. From what I understand, there was some question between flag A21 and A16. Our consultant will be talking with Lucas and performing a second site visit to confirm that delineation in that area. Lucas also had a couple of comments regarding the C series way at the back of the site that would not affect the limit of this work at all. Along our limit of work, we do have an erosion control device, a stake mulch sock that would be installed, and DEP had no comments on this.
Penny?
No, I want to hear what Lucas and, you guys come up with. But at the moment, I don't have any questions.
Bill?
I think they're going Friday.
Well, are we going to talk about the square footage of the house and the total disturbance and all that, or?
Well, I mean, if I could just jump in for a second. First of all, the wetland line hasn't been confirmed out here, so this is what their wetland specialist has found. Our person has gone out, reviewed it. There's a couple of areas where it's different, and that could change the location of a house or a buffer zone or a septic system. So this isn't set in stone yet. There are a few intermittent streams that are out back in the wetlands. They're within a wetland system, but if nobody's going to be getting within 50 or 100 feet of that, it's all part of a bordering vegetated wetland. The discussion about the stream out by the street that was called intermittent, It doesn't show up on a USDS map as a river or perennial stream. So that's usually the first determination. You would say that it's intermittent, but we have to look into that further because
Stream this side?
perennial will be a year-round stream, which is like a river, and it falls under the Rivers Protection Act. So it has more
'Cause it's
protection.
off-site.
Perennial stream has more protection than an intermittent stream.
But it does run all year long.
That's one of the things that we'll be looking at. Yeah, we don't just say, oh, it has 2 dry days, and we're not gonna look at it. Sometimes it's the substrate, the surface, and all of that, so we will be looking at that. But again, that is a pretty good distance away from any of the proposed work here, but it is good to know. We'll look into that. And let me see, when you look at this lot too, the property lines are established by an ANR, approval not required, permit through the planning board. And planning board sends them to us to get the wetlands confirmed before they will say, this is the official lot line. This is probably gonna be what the lot line looks like, but after we have the wetlands confirmed, there'll be a step where the applicant goes back to the planning board, and then we'll know exactly what the lot looks like. But either way, the proposed location of whatever work is going to take place is as you see it here. It may be a little bit varied based on what we find out from planning and from the wetland people. And our wetland person is going out there. He's been out there, I was out there with him, and because he found some differences from the original line, both wetland people are going to be going out there and do a lot more soil samples to see if they can come to an agreement of where it is. And then they'll come back to the commission. I believe they'll both present at the next meeting, and hopefully that would be next Wednesday if we continue. And then we could hear both wetland people and ask questions of them.
Lisa? Thank you, Pat.
I don't have any questions at this time. I'll be interested to hear what Lucas comes up with.
Matt?
I don't either, based upon the maps that are there now.
Oh, sorry. So what
We were talking about total square footage of the house and total square footage of disturbance with the driveway and the septic system and the, but we can do that next week?
Yeah, I think it does trigger stormwater. So
Oh, it does?
That's a good
That's-
point, yes.
That's what I was asking.
For
Okay.
each of the lots.
Okay.
It would trigger a stormwater review. Because that many trees are coming down, you want to make sure you're not flooding the neighborhood or disturbing a wetland. So there would be an engineer that would be hired through the town that would take a look at all of Greg's calculations. We have a stormwater report that's been submitted to us. So we like to wait till we have the lot line established and the wetland line established before we do the stormwater review, because the stormwater review is based on areas of wet and areas of upland, and so there's a...
Is Lucas, or Lucas does most of the environmental work, so who's the engineer doing
Yeah, I've
this?
been in contact with the next review engineer who is available is John Chessier. He's one of the 3 engineering firms that we have through our town that we use.
So he'll be reviewing this, or possibly be reviewing the
Right,
stormwater?
right. And once we have agreement on the wetland line.
Someone will review the stormwater, we just don't have that, we don't have that engineer on board yet.
What, did I just say wetland? I meant stormwater. Yeah, John would be stormwater.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you got an email back from him that
Right.
he will
Right, he hasn't seen anything yet because we're...
see nothing.
Yeah, if this doesn't change, or if the wetland line changed slightly, it may turn out the stormwater calculations and the drainage is the same, and we could send them the whole package we have. If not, it may involve some kind of revisions to the calculations.
So then at the next meeting, we'll have plans that'll reflect square footage and everything else, so we'll, like we normally...
Basically an agreement between the parties as to where the lines are.
Right, they
Okay.
it's not a 100% exact science. They might be 5 feet off on a wetland, or there could be, I found a wetland over here that you didn't see, and they need to talk about it and then take a bunch of samples.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of soil samples taken up here. It's a really difficult site for soils. It's all boulders, and there's a lot of wet areas once you get into the wetland area.
But when the consultants come back in, they're going to generally have an agreement as to where those lines are.
And if they don't, occasionally there's a disagreement.
Okay.
They both say, gee, I really feel strongly this, I feel strongly that. Then it comes back to the commission of seeing it where a third person is brought in, but usually they were very close in what they both found this time.
Right.
So, but the ones that they're not close on, they need to discuss.
Okay.
And if they disagree, we...
One of the things that's important with these, and again, Pat mentioned the property line, is the applicant has to have at least a minimum of 40,000 square feet of upland on any one of these lots. So right now, say this lot 1 has 56, I mean, that's a big difference between 40. They're saying that they have 16,000 square feet more than is required. But it's important to know not only what this wetland line is, but where these wetlands lines are, to make sure that they have sufficient upland. You know, the lot is...
Does the upland have to be contiguous?
No.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
That was the main reason we were looking at where the back line of this whole wetland was.
Right.
You know, so.
But they do have to make sure they have enough upland.
Right, I understand that part, I just didn't know if it had...
And then if there's any other resources that are in here, like, you know, they want to look, I mean, if you've walked on this site, there's a lot of wetlands here, there's a lot going on. And so it's important that at least a couple of those people look at it, Pat looks at it, any of the members, you know, you had a couple of members out there. I wasn't on that street, but I've been out here. So we want to be sure that all those resource areas are correct. If no members have any questions, we'll open it up. When someone wants to speak, they just need to state their name and address, please.
Mary Merritt at 104 Summer Street. I just have a quick question. We went to look at the plans at the Conservation Committee. They were very receptive to us looking at the plans. And there's lot 1 and lot 2. There's also lot 3 that's not being discussed, which I understand. But lot 3, if they're gonna stick a third lot in there, into Scituate and Norwell, wouldn't that also affect water runoff and plains? That doesn't, I mean, you're not saying it's there, there's a buildable lot if they combine into Norwell.
Can you flip back, Greg, to the two lots?
Excuse me.
What's being referred to was a former plan with the planning board. Lot 2 is large enough that it could be divided into a third lot. With this filing, we made an application to construct a house on Lot 1 and to construct a house at this location on Lot 2. That prior filing with the planning board, which we withdrew from the planning board, did have a third lot on it. The lot line ran from here to the back.
Yeah.
Whether Lot 3 is buildable or not, I don't know. We're not making any application for it. It could be a future lot. Out back, there is significant land area in the town of Norwell. Obviously, not significant land area up along Summer Street. We're not here to discuss anything on Lot 3. We're here to talk about the applications for this house and this house.
Okay, just 1 and 2.
Sorry.
So,
Shows lot 2 have the upland?
so the plan that you saw before, I mean, we've got another plan in front of us that shows the same thing that you're asking about. So apparently that was an application that was withdrawn, and what is in front of us tonight is an application for two lots.
And I can understand if it was withdrawn, but it's still, I guess, to maybe the neighborhood, it's still, as he says, not sure if it's a buildable lot or not. So in the long run, you put in house 1, house 2, and all of a sudden, lot 3, yes, becomes a buildable lot. That also is still affecting all of the water and wetlands behind all of those houses coming all the way down to our houses.
If we can talk about them, we can't consider it.
I guess.
Right. I understand your concern, but, you know, oftentimes people will build on large lots, with estate lots, whatever they want to call them, because they want more area. And sometimes they're just too difficult to develop. I mean, the wetlands crossing to get back to that piece of property would be extremely difficult and probably cost prohibitive. So it appears like they've decided to just drop that as an option, and what we really have to address is
what's in front of it.
Is what's in front of us.
Right. I understand your concern, but we can't consider, if Lot 3 isn't in front of us, then we can't consider Lot 3 to be there.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I
right.
just wanted to
Yeah.
put to the table.
I understand, yeah, this has come up before with
The other
us.
part of that is it would have to go through a full review as its own lot when it came in. There'd be another stormwater review on that lot too, so it won't be exempt.
Sorry, I just...
Yes, sir.
My name's John Mariano. I'm at 349 Summer Street in Nola.
Okay.
And I just thought I could shed some light on that Lot 3, because we did receive a notice from the Scituate Realty Trust saying that they thought they had a right-of-way coming from that Lot 3 through our property and out to Summer Street. So it sounds likely to me that they would be looking to use frontage through, by dividing into Lot 3, they could use the frontage on Summer Street and then try and access that right-of-way, which they don't have access to, but they've told us that they do. And we've had multiple lawyers confirm that they do not have access and that it's not in any of their deeds. But I just want to make sure that we're talking about Lot 1 and 2, but I think it's something that needs to be made aware of, that is something that they will probably be looking at down the line.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, I don't know if, I mean, it's a speculative thing, but
We're not here for anything on Lot 3. In the future, if something ever happens, there'd be a series of hearings associated with that. We're not here for that tonight.
We're not even confirming the wetlands on Lot 3. I mean, if we thought there was something before,
Well,
we would have to
you are.
confirm them out there.
well, aren't we confirming the wetlands by, when we do Lot 2 and Lot 3?
Well,
They're combined now.
what we did was we followed the line for Lot 2 out to the back of the subdivision.
Can you show us, Pat, where,
Yeah, it was, we probably followed it this way and came out to this way. I could check with our wetland person, maybe he's good with that, but if it's not on the lots, I mean, if this one's one big lot, but
Right.
if it's not gonna be something that's gonna be built on, we don't wanna be tied into saying that we have confirmed wetlands on areas of, like we didn't go on any of these properties over here. So,
well, isn't it all on, all the same property?
you know.
No.
It is.
Well, we walked, I mean, it appears to be one big parcel, but if he's talked about these flags, then yeah, we could.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't go off the site that's gonna be.
But it is one parcel.
Well, it is, but it's lot 1, lot 2, so, yeah. I mean, great.
I mean, we eventually have to address Lot 2. Right now, we're having a hearing on Lot 1.
Yeah.
So, and does everybody understand that? We're opening these individually. So right now, we're discussing Lot 1, and then we go to Lot 2. So maybe we put the cart before the horse a little bit in discussing Lot 2, okay? Go ahead.
Lucas Environmental provided a letter to this commission. It did include the delineation of all of the C-series across the back,
But
starting
the
with
house-
flag
Yeah, there
205.
is a house off of Summer Street, though, that
That's
has
correct.
upland, and it comes to wetland, and that hasn't been reviewed, so. So there was a piece.
Does this impact Lot 1 or Lot 2?
No,
No, what?
it doesn't impact Lot 1 or Lot 2, but Lot 1 and Lot 2 aren't created yet, so your point of it being one big parcel is true.
Okay.
Right.
I know that at one point in time, you know, Pat had discussed the possibility of doing an ANRAD on this property as opposed to doing this filing, and so there's a couple of different ways to determine the wetlands line. But the applicant elected not to do an ANRAD, right?
Correct.
So we do need to be sure that all the wetlands lines are correct, I feel.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right, just so I understand, I'm looking at this, that has Lot 1, 2, and 3. I'm looking at this plan here with
This
Lot...
is not what's been applied for.
Right, no, I'm just
Okay.
saying, I mean, as I'm looking at this, so we're like looking at Lot 1 and 2. When we make reference to this, Greg, is this line between 1 and 2 confirmed? So that Lot 1 is a much smaller lot, and Lot 2, are we looking at this whole Lot 2?
When you look at an application like this, there's nothing that prevents the applicant from changing those lines through an A&R plan for the property lines. An A&R plan is a plan endorsed by the planning board, which will change the lot lines or divide it into further lots if necessary.
Is this the plan that's been withdrawn?
No, the plan that was
this one is.
withdrawn is a three-lot.
So when you say that, Greg, I'm sorry if other people know this and I don't, I just want to make sure I understand. At the point, let's say hypothetically, that you would go to change the line for Lot 2, does that mean that you would come back in front of Concom?
No, because the work wouldn't be changing that's approved under the notice of intent, and the line would have been approved through the notice of intent. The lot area doesn't affect.
Okay, so the structure will stay the same in Lot 2? It would just be whether you made the lot...
Line closer or
Okay,
not.
all right, thank you.
One thing is, just to get to Frank's question, is we haven't flagged along these property lines. We're showing wetland going to the property lines, but there is a wetland line out here that hasn't been flagged. But the back has, and everything related to two possible lots, but we don't know a line along here.
Yeah, because you walked the theoretical line too, and didn't go further down to the...
Right.
Yeah, right.
Followed the flagging.
Right.
Provided by,
Right.
There's just an area that wasn't, but it may not, it may be irrelevant. But we will state which piece we've looked at and reviewed, and then we'll say that there was an area that hasn't been reviewed.
Are there any other houses besides the one you referenced in the corner, in Lot 1? Are there any?
Right, Lot 1, it's quite a distance to the next house on Summer Street. It's a Summer Street location.
Excuse me, on your one,
Yeah.
I thought we were on to people, but.
Yeah, we are.
whenever
We
you're
just,
ready.
but between, just if, when you're ready to go.
Whenever you're ready, I'll.
But I'd like to try to stick to lot, I mean, we opened these individually. We asked that question in the beginning. We're going to try to stick to the lots as much as we can. Okay?
Hypothetical Lot 1,
Yeah.
it may be a lot.
Okay? So this is for lot 1. Go ahead.
Okay, Doreen Close, and I'm the abutter, when you're ready, 132 Summer Street.
One who didn't sign for a letter.
Right.
And by the way, I didn't what?
Well, we had a...
Yeah, I got no notice, but thank you, Lisa. All right, so I'm here.
Great.
So here I am. I have this incredible property where it's very low lying and probably would have not been able to be built 150 years ago because it's so low lying, it would have been swamp, all right? So these people hand dug this incredible brook drainage ditch, right? So I take on, by the way, and you know Mr. Snell, did you live there?
Sure.
I take on probably half of the West End in water coming through my property that eventually goes into the woods and into the Cohasset Reservoir. So what I have seen over 20 years of living there is that this reservoir that protected my house all these years is not anymore. The water table is changing. There's development there, trees get cut down, and you think it doesn't affect us. I mean, you've got a little plan there, 50 feet from this, 50 feet from that. If you don't think that building a house and a foundation and a septic system and cutting down a bunch of trees isn't going to change the water system, you know, you're in the wrong committee, because it does, all right? And I know you have rules, but if you're going to just let something be 40 feet from this, and really it could be 100 feet if you decided to make it that way, you know, please. This perk test was done in the worst drought in our history. I know the woman who owns this land. She told me 20 years ago it wasn't buildable because it's so wet, and I live there. I walk this land. It's nothing but muck. If you can get a little hill with muck around it and make it okay, really. So I am requesting the following. Please let this committee come with us and walk this land, all right? And understand it. Because it is going to just pour back onto my land again and change, you know, it's bad. So please, come with us. And also, 2 questions. Were you there when they did their perk test?
I was there when our representative, did soil augering. It wasn't a perk test
I
for the
understand
septic.
what that is.
But the septic review was done by someone that was hired by the Board of Health, so the
But were
towns,
they there with that perk test? Because you know what, that should happen.
it has to be witnessed, it does, by a town representative.
So they did a perk test and a town representative was
Yeah,
there?
it was a
I don't
person.
think so, because I went out and talked to him. First of all, it's a scenic road, they broke through the, albeit broken, stone walls that you're not supposed to, and never replaced them back. And they went in there and they dug, and there was no one from the town there. They should be there. In a drought situation.
It's a stamped plan, though, that there is a witness from the town that was there. We hire a consultant, our Board of Health agent doesn't go out, but we have a hired person that witnesses all the perks.
Okay, so there was someone out there for the perk.
That's what the stamped plan says. so,
Okay, all right, well, that's good. And the perk said it was all good.
Can I just interject here? Because I know it gets frustrating and sometimes complicated, but there's multiple facets to approving this project. The Conservation Commission is dealing with the wetlands issues, and because it's in a wetlands area, we also deal with the stormwater piece. The Board of Health will deal with the septic system and those requirements. And, you know, I really don't think that we should be answering for the Board of Health, other than Pat's correct, that
All right, no problem.
nothing
I'll
should
check
be,
that out.
the Board of Health should be answering your questions with regard to that issue.
Okay.
And then with regard to the stone wall or the property lines, those both fall under the jurisdiction of the planning board.
Okay.
So just, you know, you can express your...
All right,
your
let's stay with the wetlands then.
Well, you can express your concerns, but just so that you know how those will fall, that, you know, as much as we think we're important, we can only deal with a piece of that.
But to your concerns about the drainage, though, there is going to be a stormwater plan, and what they have to do is say, okay, if this happens, then this much water will flow this way and go that way. And that, you know, they have to come up with the plans, then we have our own people that confirm that plan, so that's going to be addressed in this process.
Well, that's what I've heard for all the development in the West End that has really not done the job. Can I tell you that? Because I can't even believe the overflowing of my brook. So, you know, come out, let's see it, please. I'm begging you guys to not go out on your own walk.
So for your request to walk the property, you know, Pat's walked the property with our consultant. I think that a few of the members have been out there. I'm not sure. I've walked the property a few times. I'm more than happy to walk the property, but we have to get permission from the landowner to bring other people onto the property. Some people are more than happy to allow that to happen. Others are reluctant to happen. So if that's a request that you want to have happen, we can certainly ask for that to happen, and that's, Mr. Morse will have to go back to the property owner and find out if that's permissible.
Property owner or property owners?
Whoever has the...
Yeah, who does own this property?
Well, let's... Greg, you...
The Stuartia Realty Trust.
Stuart, say it again?
Stuartia
Realty Trust.
It's Kathy's thing, okay.
Yeah, Kathleen B. Donahue.
Okay.
Trustee, and David.
Yes, sir.
I should just
your name?
Marlon Hawthorne. I'm on the other side. I'm at 353 Summer Street in Norwalk.
Okay.
The only comment I was going to make about walking on land without permission is that whoever the people were who did their wetlands came up back that way, came passing through the back of my lot, appeared in the driveway, scared the shit out of my son, who called the police and came racing at 90 miles an hour down Summer Street to find out what's going on, and he wouldn't identify himself. So if there are any other character references as to their wetlands guy, that isn't one of them. Never identified himself. They were two.
I don't know if that was our consultant or the...
It was before our people.
Okay.
They came marching right back through, prowling through my barn, peeking in my windows.
Well, we don't...
I just mentioned.
Thank you.
I just talked to whoever was out there digging and doing their perk tests and stuff for quite a while. And his statement to me was, it's really wet back here. They're lucky to get one little lot out of this. And now we have potential for three, which is stunning, because I walk that land. It is a muck house. It's not, it isn't. So here's my last few things. I hope we can just coordinate walking out there in something other than a drought.
You know what we should get, I guess, is there somebody get a sheet of paper? Can we get a sign-in sheet?
Years ago, when I used to walk it, because it was wet behind us at 104, and it would be wet behind my neighbor's house, you could see the water, that when you could walk back there, because I would walk through the woods, and I tried to like go up towards, before Judges Hill was built, there used to be like lady slippers out there. I haven't walked it in a long time, but I mean, there used to be like the wet plants that are out there.
We'd like a name, an address, and possibly, and an email address would be the most helpful.
So could we close?
All right, so as we do that, can I just make a couple more points? You
Sure.
say that you need 40,000
1,000.
square feet of upland for a lot, but it doesn't have to be contiguous? Are you sure? Are you really sure about that?
We'll be sure.
Okay, you will be or you are?
We are sure, but we can absolutely confirm that.
Okay, because I'm wondering that if you're like 40 feet from wetlands, but the septic system is like 40 feet from, and all of that, that really is right. I don't know. You know what? This is out of my...
And that's why it's not only going to be reviewed by us, but it's going to be reviewed by the consultants as well.
Okay.
And it can't be 40 feet from a wetland either.
Well, you know what I mean. Well, you just said 40...
It has to be 50 feet.
50 minimum.
56 feet. Oh, boy, so we get 6 feet towards the water.
Mrs. Paulus?
Yeah, okay,
We're
so
gonna try to.
I'm almost finished. All right, just...
No, you're
hold
fine
on.
to do that, but just, let's try to stick.
All right, so then the other thing is that you are crossing potentially wetlands even to enter the property, but you're not sure yet, but there might be, so tell me about that.
No, there aren't wetlands to get into the property. It's upland right from Summer Street onto that mounded, it looked like a...
Yeah.
That part is upland. We don't, if it's crossing of a wetland, it gets to be a whole different issue.
What did you just say about you weren't sure about the wetlands along Summer Street?
The other side of the street, there's some wetland area, and we asked that they measure from that, because that has a buffer area too.
How much?
Well, it's 100 feet for our jurisdiction, but they can't build within 50 feet.
So, but you can withhold the 100 feet if you choose to, right?
Yeah, I think across the street with, a road layout in between, we'd have to prove that there would be damage done to the property if we decided to hold them to 100 foot. It'd be tough sell to say there's 100 feet with a road in between that's going to cause damage. So-
But how about 100 feet from the back of where the house is, or the wetlands, rather than 56?
Right, there's a 50-foot no-touch, it's not even a no-build, there's no
Yeah.
cut, no anything. There's a 50-foot buffer in our regulations and in our bylaw. If there were outstanding reasons why it should be bigger than 50, certainly they can look at that and the argument of...
How about
We're
these
not
houses?
permitting this.
We're having a huge problem with our water. Do we really want to keep pushing on our water?
Well-
Like, do we really want to pull back from that 100 feet and just keep letting your trees get cut down and the water?
Just gonna say, water is a big
Professionals to do
issue
their
in the town,
report
we
first.
understand that. But we have regulations and bylaws that we have to follow, and people who own property have rights to do
I
certain
know, but
things.
you have the right to go 100 feet.
We have the right to protect abutters and the resource area.
There you
And it
go.
may be 100, and maybe 50.
Well,
and-
protecting a house being built seems less important than protecting water, so I'd go the 100 feet, and that's just my point of view. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else for Lot 1? Can I just, maybe I should just, and again, we could, there's no real point in debating all this tonight, but this commission will do our best to hold a hearing and make sure that the project complies with not only the state regulations, but the town of Scituate bylaws. And we have to do our best to follow those regulations. We have denied projects in the past that then have been overruled by the state. And when the state does that, they oftentimes put less restrictions on the project than we may put as a town. So I'm not saying what's going to happen with this project. We're going to go through all of this. But the town of Scituate can impose stricter guidelines on this project than the state can or will do that. So if we were to deny this project, the applicant certainly has the ability to appeal that to the state. And I can assure you that the state doesn't roll in as a white knight and deny these projects. And in fact, oftentimes, they will approve a project with less restrictions and less requirements than the town of Scituate will impose.
But please,
And I'm not-
be
I'm not-
fearless.
I'm-
You have, 100 feet is your guideline.
I'm not saying that we roll...
Oh, we're gonna go to 52 because they might sue us, please.
We're not talking about a suit. We're talking about simply their ability to appeal our decision.
What's a suit?
And then, well, so we really want to work with folks, and we want to make sure that everybody understands the process, and we want to go through the process, because everybody has rights to this. You do as an abutter, we do as a town, and the landowner has those as well.
And our water is like probably the most important.
Without,
Let's do the right thing.
without question. Okay? So we're gonna have this list, and Pat, do you have a problem with having the abutters do something like that? If the landowner wants to do it, do you?
Oh, it's up to the property owner to...
Okay. Okay.
I mean, commission members can go out, but...
Yeah, if we want to do a site visit and include folks on that, let's see what happens, okay?
How do we follow up on that?
Well, we're gonna have we're gonna have this list of folks in here tonight, and we'll make that request, and then we'll get back to you. This hearing's gonna get continued. We're not closing this hearing tonight, so before you leave, you're gonna know when the next hearing is as well.
Thank you.
Okay?
And we also haven't even started the stormwater permit application, which would be the engineers from both sides talking about how they're gonna manage the water. Our person hasn't even read this yet, because we're trying to get the lot lines established to see where the wetlands are. So there's a lot of steps. I understand all your questions.
They always seem to work out for the developer. They do. They really do. So,
Only if they follow the rules.
Well, there's always ways to, like, manipulate things. So all I know is
Well,
my
text them.
land, which drains the half of the west end, has changed so significantly with development. You guys have no idea. My yard doesn't even dry out in summer anymore because the water table's up, all right? It does. I mean, I never had water in my, not this summer because it was unusual. I never had water in my basement. Now I'm getting it. So every time you guys do this, you think it's just this land and the wetlands.
Sure.
It affects everything.
Cumulative, because there's so many different projects.
We have another hearing, and then we have hearings after that, so let's,
I just have a quick question, right? Do you know when you're going before the planning?
Our goal is to go in front of them December 22nd if the wetlands consultants can agree on a wetland line next week.
Okay, so you're looking to continue next week, and then after that, we'd go after the planning?
Correct.
That's all, I just wanted to get rid of this.
Right, so there'll be a planning board hearing following, once the wetland line gets established, he'll be going back to the planning board to create lots to the A&R approval not required
That's what we want to
process.
be involved with when you're working on these wetlands.
Well, we'll have a time for our next meeting, and then the planning board, you could check with them as to when.
You're not understanding. You're determining wetlands. We want to walk with you on that.
okay. But maybe you didn't understand what I said. That you've requested that.
Right.
The engineer's gonna talk to the homeowner, because they have to decide if they want everybody on their property or not.
So who's the homeowner? We're all here.
The owner of the property. This is private property, just as this gentleman was upset that someone came and walked on his property. It's up to the applicant and the people that own that property, do they want to allow folks to walk on
So
that?
they say no.
Not someone, a representative, this same person from who? You're trying to
can tell
protect
you
from
right
having
now.
mark in her property.
He can tell you right now. So they say no.
Okay,
You know what, this is really, it borders on being a little disrespectful to this, so,
Can I just ask one question? Because
Sure.
frankly, I don't understand. When you're talking about the owner of the property and the people walking the land, is it the people that are building the property, is it their property that you're talking about that they're gonna walk? Or is it people that are abutters like myself that someone's gonna walk, they need permission to walk behind our house to check it out, to see what where it's there. Is that what you mean?
Mrs. Close requested that you or herself, maybe other
Yeah.
folks in the audience would like to walk on the property that's being proposed. And what I'm saying is, I don't have the ability to say, yes, it's fine for you to walk on that property. That's up to that landowner to decide if they want to allow other people to walk on that property.
I'm going to finish. I know you think I'm being disrespectful, but if she says no, do we have the opportunity to hire an engineer that would be allowed to go on there? Or is it basically we're shut out?
The town of Scituate has hired a consultant to review the wetlands line. And then also the town of Scituate will hire an engineer to review the stormwater.
Can we go with them as a citizen?
No, not without permission.
However, Pat can go.
Our agent can go, members of the commission can go, okay?
And we can call them and at least talk to them, right?
Right, and people can walk on your property if you want to invite them on your property to show you what.
And that may be helpful in determining some of the resource areas.
Yes.
Okay? Okay.
What you can do, and it sounds like maybe, is if you're requesting that maybe some of these professionals actually walk on your property that borders this, on your property, which you would grant permission for, to show what you're stating, how you're being impacted by the water.
Can we meet with a group of us and make a date and a time where if we walk with them, they can go behind all our properties and do it all at once?
I don't know what's necessary, Pat, for,
I mean, they're gonna have a presentation next Wednesday. We're assuming that they will come in and they will both talk about what they found.
But we're requesting.
But
There's no vote yet on that.
we have not closed this hearing, so next Wednesday, we're going to continue this meeting till next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, there'll be a wetlands consultant from the town that's there. If you have questions for that wetlands consultant, you can ask that at next Wednesday's meeting. If we haven't resolved the answers, or there's unanswered questions, or they feel that there would be something else that could be helpful, then we can address that. So this is a multi-step process that's going to go forward.
Can you just give us the name of the engineer that you've hired to just... That's all.
Didn't sign this.
We're using a company called Lucas Environmental.
Which is the wetland.
Yeah, but you should be going through the Conservation Commission to Lucas.
We're here.
You are here tonight, and Lucas will be here next week.
Be here Wednesday.
After they've done all of their things, though, right?
There won't have been a vote taken, though. They'll be presenting their information.
What's that?
You can ask whatever questions. If you ask questions that they say, gee, we don't have an answer, then they're gonna have to say, gee.
Sure.
We should be involved
Okay.
before they present this to you.
I make a motion to continue Lot 1 to December 14th at 7:05.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So we're still going to have a hearing on Lot 2.
Next week, right now?
Right now.
Great.
So Lot 2 is the next.
Oh, yes, you're in for it.
So go ahead.
On December 7th, 2016, at 6:55 PM, maybe we should have just held these together. Somebody said that, didn't they?
Too late.
Except for appeals process, they
That's
appeal
true.
them one at a time.
6:55 PM, the Town Hall. The Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of, I still ain't gonna say it right, Stella Ward?
Stuart Tia.
Stuart Tia Realty Trust to construct a dwelling, including a stormwater permit on property located at Lot 2, Summer Street, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend.
Great. Thank you. Again, for the record, Gregory Morse, Morse Engineering. This is the notice of intent associated with Lot 2, directing you to the plan. The proposal is to construct a single-family home at this location, Summer Street on the right-hand side, a large swath of wetlands through the middle of the property.
Can you back up a little?
Again, our project is up at the corner of the lot up near Summer Street. I will zoom into that section on a more detailed septic design plan. This plan depicts in blue the bordering vegetated wetlands that was delineated by Brad Holmes. It delineates in red the 50-foot no disturb buffer zone, and in green the 100-foot buffer zone. We've proposed a house located right here on the lot. It's at a distance of 56 feet away from the wetlands. We've proposed an access driveway from the house to the garage out to Summer Street. We've attached to the roof dry wells to intercept rainwater and direct them into a dry well system. Proposed septic system located here along Summer Street. Around the limit of work, what we're proposing is a staked mulch sock to prevent any sediment from eroding into the wetland area. We're also proposing wetland conservation posts along the 50-foot buffer to prevent future encroachment into those areas.
If you want to come forward, sir, that's, if it helps.
DEP had no comments on this submittal. It's being reviewed as well regarding the wetlands delineation, and it's included in the stormwater permit.
Penny?
No, once again, I want to hear next week from the wetlands guys if they're all set with all the lines and so forth. Otherwise, I don't have questions at this moment. A night later.
Bill?
Yeah, I want to get more information, and then we'll go back at it next week.
Lisa?
I agree with Penny and Bill.
I do too. I'd like to see the new plan.
Okay. Pat, anything different on lot 2?
Again, these lots aren't totally confirmed, and the wetland lines aren't confirmed, so that'll take place next week, we hope.
Okay. So you know the drill.
Yeah, they're not totally confirmed. It sounds like they are, really. That's the feeling I get.
Well, at this point, they
It's
both...
a pushback, I get.
If they were in total agreement, they wouldn't have to go back out there again this week and walk the line. If they agreed totally, they would already be ready for a vote.
And the other, just...
But then our town officials don't let the people that live here walk the line with them. It's stunning to me.
You're able to attend a public hearing and to question the people who are trained in this, and, I mean, I think that's how it's set
Well,
up.
please, have them come to me too, because they need to see the whole picture, all right? Please, at least that.
Well,
If
you'll
you
have to
can.
come to them at the next
What would that
meeting.
mean?
At the next meeting.
They'll be here.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, I just have a question. I'm not sure if it's you or Mr. Morris, but it looks to me like the septic system is right up to the 50-foot line. The house is 2 feet from the 50-foot line, and basically everything is within the 100-foot buffer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All of it?
To me, it does. I'm back here.
I mean, our comment on that would be, you can't even build the house if you're that close to the line, so we would be pulling it off the line. I mean...
Well, you can't. It'd be on the road if you go any further on.
Well, just because this is presented to us doesn't mean this is...
There's nowhere for them to go, is what I'm
I
saying.
just had a hard time believing what I was seeing. I'm sorry now.
I mean, I tried to put solar panels on my roof and a new propane tank, and I was before this board 5 times, all right? Because I was within 100 feet of a brook, trying to do the right thing for the planet. And here we are gonna give a house permission to be like right up to the line in the wetlands. Come on, with a septic system.
We don't even have a lot line or a wetland line.
Well, that is the
You're
problem,
jumping
isn't
ahead
it?
of
It's kind of ass backwards, you know, how do you even decide if you don't even know where that is? This is
One
how-
order.
I'm sorry, I'm
You know
sorry.
what?
I'm not going to...
I think
I'm
as
sorry.
the chairman said before, our obligation is to uphold the rules that are in the bylaw. If you don't like the decision that comes from this commission, you have appeal processes. You can go to the state, and you can go to Superior Court. So the process is going to take place. We're going to do the best job that we can, but you have appeal rights.
But we don't even know where we are with this, so we're sort of putting the cart before the horse in way too many places.
I just want to ask one question, because I'm not sure if it's a conservation question or a building question. When you look at the measurements on it. It starts at like 108 and goes up to 115. In other words, are they gonna,
The topography?
the topography, so are they putting fill in to put a house up on the lot so the water runs down off of it, I guess was my question?
That'll be part of the pieces for the stormwater, to see if there's water that's shed into areas or onto someone else's property that, is it, when that water, for the construction that they do, where does that water go? And what he showed in both these cases is some infiltrators to pick up runoff from the roof, which is an impervious area. And then there's also runoff from some of the site, and where does that water go and who does it impact?
That's what I wondered, if that, even if the rainwater goes into a tank from the roof, when it, if it over, or should overflow, where does the water go to? Because like, we've had a terrible job this year, but we've had other years where it's absolutely soaking wet. So I was just curious.
And these are probably very good questions to pose to the professionals, the ones that do this for a living. And
Yeah, that all has to be taken into
They're the
account
ones
in
that do the
stormwater.
calculations, they understand, they've had the
Topography,
schooling, right?
But that's
All
why
of
I
it.
didn't know if it was you guys or somebody else. Or
It'll be us through the stormwater review. So, yeah, those are questions that all have to be answered.
Next week, or they bring them?
No,
The
this is gonna take a
stormwater's gonna be
while.
another whole process after that.
Okay, thanks.
It's gonna be a while.
Yes, sir.
This may be a question for Greg, or maybe even the planning board, but can I ask why the prior
What's his
plan was pulled, and so that lot 2 is a larger lot now?
I don't think that they have to give us a reason.
What's his name?
Kind of like trying to plan and get approval for you guys for lot 2, and then they're gonna go and subdivide lot 2 and get a lot 3, and kind of push it through piecemeal.
They don't have to give us a reason, but, you know, they can do whatever they want with their own property, but I understand, yeah, that's the same concern. But they don't have to give us a reason why they would change.
If they change again, I mean.
But as Pat pointed out, if this property were to get redivided again, we would be having the same discussion and hearing.
Well, yeah, that's
Every lot will be determined on its own merits.
But right now, what's in front of us is Lot 1 and Lot 2.
And I guess a follow-up question would be, how would that work, considering the town line goes directly through the property? Would they be going before both the town of Scituate and the town of Norwell for all these things?
Greg, do you want to?
That portion of this property is located in the town of Norwell. I have spoken with their conservation agent. I believe your agent has as well. If we proposed any work in Norwell or within 100 feet of the wetlands in Norwell, we'd be required to file with that commission as well. We're not proposing any work within 100 feet of the town of Norwell at this time.
Okay.
Can I just ask which agent in Norwell you spoke with?
Nancy Hemingway, the conservation agent.
I appreciate it, thank you.
So the new Lot 2, or Lot 2B, that has the same, is this south? I don't know what's the, yeah, so that has the same border on the southern side of the Norwell side that 3 did. Okay, great.
Okay, is there anything else?
I'm going to continue it.
Okay, so what, we want to continue this to
Yeah,
when?
I'm going to continue Lot 2, Summer Street, to December 14th at 7:10.
Second?
So the first, Lot 1 will be at 7:05 next Wednesday. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
The cool head of the attorney.
I'm sorry
No,
about that.
I was,
Perfect.
I was,
That's why we do it as a committee. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, bye now.
Thank you. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, that's great.
Cal, gonna take me away.
very well.
Hubbard, 28 River Street, raise, rebuild, continued.
Are you in here again?
I'm not going out there.
You haven't had enough?
I don't blame you.
Okay.
28 River Street, raise, rebuild.
Yes. Yes. This was a notice of intent we presented at the last meeting for a raise and rebuild. I believe the commission had everything it needed to vote the project. However, it was left open because we had a pending ZBA project.
Yes, that's right.
The ZBA approved the plan at their last meeting, so we're asking the commission to close the project and issue an order of conditions.
Pat?
Yep, that's what we decided, and they did confirm that they approved it. And Carol has conditions which we'll be getting to.
So I make a motion to close.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want us to drag this out for a bit, or?
I'm not done.
Stall.
McMullen, 105 Glades Road, septic tank, and that's going to be continued because of no Board of Health?
Yeah, I think we heard today that there was a Board of Health revision to the plan. Is that what they were saying, Carol? Okay.
But we had opened that, right?
Yes, yep.
Okay,
So
so
we
I
gotta
make a
continue it.
motion that we continue. McMillan, 105 Glades Road. The 14th or the...
Not sure if they're meeting Monday or not.
Oh, so they still haven't met?
I think they might.
I think next meeting's going to be,
Well, it's either the 14th or January 4th. What do you
Yeah,
want?
I would do it next week, just in case they're met, then we can close
Okay.
it out. If not, it'll only take it 2
So I make a
seconds.
motion, we continue McMillan, 105 Glades Road to December 14th at 7:15. We are full.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
15th or 14th? It was 14th.
14th.
14th, Penny.
I did say 14th.
Oh.
At 7:15.
Oh, I thought I
Oh,
did.
my apology. I thought you said
The
15th.
one's the date, the other one's the time, honey, all right?
She didn't say PM,
Let's
so I
be
got
respectful.
confused.
On December...
Watch it.
Watch your back.
On December 7th, 2016, at 7:10 PM, in the Town Hall, the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of Richard and Barbara Kelly to build an addition on property located at 11 Tilden Road, Scituate. Abutters and interested parties are invited to attend.
Good evening, Greg Morse, Morse Engineering. The applicant, property owner Richard and Barbara Kelly are with us as well. Good evening. This is a notice of intent that we filed to construct an addition. The addition would be an accessory dwelling attached to their property at 11 Tilden Road. I'll direct you to the plan.
Excuse me.
Tilden Road is this location here. The Kelly's existing residence is located here on the property. At the back of the property, we have two wetlands. We have highlighted in blue a bordering vegetated wetland, and that borders it along the Scituate Brook, which is their rear lot line. Off of the BVW, I've highlighted in red the 50-foot no disturb buffer zone, and in green the 100-foot wetland buffer zone. Off of the brook, which is a perennial river, extends a 200-foot riverfront area, which is encompassing of the entire site. The entire site is in the riverfront area. Wetlands here were delineated by Steve Ivis. What I've highlighted on the plan is the proposed addition. The proposed addition would connect to the existing house, be located right here where I've highlighted. On the back of the addition is a porch and deck area. The entire addition is over existing lawn surface, and you'll notice that it's outside of the 50-foot buffer. To the porch is 57 feet lawn surface around that. With respect to the riverfront area standards, riverfront standards permit the commission to allow up to 10% of the lot as degraded area being area that's covered by impervious surfaces. We ran the existing calculations. The existing site was below 10%. With the proposed addition, we're coming up to 9.7% of the site, which is within your authority to permit. Pat had a couple of comments that he had emailed me regarding this property. One was in regards to an alternatives analysis. I need to provide you with an alternatives analysis. When looking at the addition, we did look at different locations to site it. We did look at the eastern side of the site. We looked at the back of the house. We were restricted on the front due to setbacks with zoning. The proposed location complied with zoning and kept everything outside the 50. That's the alternative that we went with. I will provide a more detailed analysis, though, of why we did not go into the 50-foot with an alternative on the eastern side or off the southern side, off the back of the house. That is one of the requirements of the riverfront area. There was also a comment in regards to the wetlands delineation. The wetlands, again, delineated by Steve Iris. I did not provide bordering vegetative wetland BVW data sheets. That's not a requirement of a notice of intent in the local regulations or the state. I do realize it can be helpful in reviewing a wetland line, though. The commission has asked for it on occasion. If you want that, I will have Steve prepare those sheets. Again, it's something that you have the ability to approve without, but I'll leave it up to you on whether that's required or not.
Pat, what would the data sheets give you that,
Actually, there's two ways of doing it. You could provide the data sheets, the DEP data sheets for the BVW, or you could, give us a narrative of what you found out there, because in addition to the bordering vegetated wetland, there's top of bank, there's riverfront area, there's also bordering land subject to flooding. So these are 4 different resource areas, and there's really no detail in this whole thing about that. And, they're going to be getting the alternatives analysis to it. I mean, Steve should be writing up something about each of these resource areas. Plus, DEP needs to know that these resource areas are part of this project too, because it's been submitted to them. And as far as they know,
what would be the simplest but most concise way for us to get that information? I assume there's costs associated with getting those things done. We want to make sure it's right. So
he often takes notes when he goes out there the first time. He may have all the information, he may not have just written it up and submitted it, because the bordering vegetated wetland, we wouldn't ask for data sheets because it's the edge of the lawn. It's right to where, but top of bank and things like that, that's where you do the measurements for your riverfront area, inner riparian and all of that. So, I mean, if Steve could get that to us, that would be, I don't see a real difficulty in this proposed project as long as it's less than the 10% alteration, and we can say we made a determination based on good wetland information from their specialists.
Yep.
Can we go over that 10% thing again? So when you talk about the 10% degradation, that you take the whole lot?
Take the whole...
Everything that everything that is owned by, in this particular plot?
Yeah, this lot here is 34,670 square feet in size, and so what you do is you take the area of the riverfront on the lot, which in this case is the lot.
Yeah, all right.
Of that riverfront area, you're allowed to turn 10% of it into a degraded surface. Degraded surface is anything that's absent of topsoil, essentially, so.
And does that calculation include the structure that's already on?
It does.
A lot?
It does.
So that gives you 3,500.
So it gives you...
So that takes how much away from that?
It gives you 3,467 square feet to play with. What exists at the property right now, existing impervious, is 2,105. That's the existing house, the deck, and the driveway.
2,000?
2,105 square feet exists right now at the site. The addition that we're adding brings that number up to 3,371. So we're adding 1,200 square feet thereabouts of impervious surface. So that brings us up to...
So you make it by about 300 square feet.
Brings up to 9.7 of the lot.
It's nicely done.
Yeah.
Well done. I mean, I can see it, but I don't know if you guys want to. It seems like a small...
Ready?
No,
Bill?
No, I mean, that answered my question.
Good. Matt?
No, I'm good, based upon.
Well, we're continuing this, right?
Yeah, but Pat, do you have any,
Yeah, I mean, I'd do the measurements and run those numbers. We'll look at the alternatives analysis and see what Steve Ives has.
okay. Greg, how long do you think it'd take to get that information back? I mean, it seems a little complicated.
A lot going on, yeah.
What's, not next week's meeting, but the following meeting?
January 4th.
January 4th?
January 4th.
Is that,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
great. Continue to then.
Okay, then I'm going to make a motion that we continue Kelly 11 Tilden Road to January 4th at 6:50.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sometime if I get a chance to stop and, I just want to take a walk out back. I'm more thinking about the brook than,
How far down Tilden are you?
right on the bend if you,
They're like the second house until
coming out of the harbor.
Okay, gotcha.
the road bend.
Yep.
I've always wanted a good reason to get into the brook in that area.
He wants to go wade.
There was a deer there today, flying right on the other side of the bank. Yeah, we see them in the yard.
Oh, that's what you want to get.
This section of the book is...
So is that down by the senior housing place?
Huh?
Down by the senior housing?
No, that's Brook Street.
We've spent a lot
So-
of time out there over the
Huh?
years. We used to ice skate out there until it got very overgrown.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot of places that happen.
I've had people ask me about the probability or possibility of reclaiming Scituate Brook. In other words, getting in and getting it cleaned out and getting it opened back up. Again, I've had a couple of people ask me what the process would be to get Scituate Brook sort of, I mean, that's where our town name came from.
Right.
And it flows all the way back up into Beaver Dam Road, and
Yeah.
the drainage starts way up almost where the proving grounds are. It goes beyond that.
Yeah,
It's almost,
no, I know it does.
almost up to the highway barn.
It's really beautiful back there.
Yeah.
It's really pretty, and it's, you know, we do go out there a lot. It's,
Yeah.
it is overgrown, unfortunately, just the weeds and, you know, things that
Yeah, that's what happened.
Sure.
have been there 35 years.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
All right, well, if you, that's good. Well, we'll just get this information and then hopefully,
More information from Steve, I don't know if we'll be
By Patty Kane's house?
back at the
Is
beginning.
that where it is?
Yeah, we gotta look at that.
Yeah.
I can get that to you.
here's,
Usually very thorough with.
Are you guys by Patty Kane's house? By Patty Kane's house?
here's Brook Street. Yeah. Tilden, Carrie Litchfield, or Stockbridge comes in like this.
Yeah.
Carrie Litchfield goes here.
Yeah.
This is First Parish. So this house, there's a house right on the corner.
Yeah.
And then their house is.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got it.
And the brook runs under.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, cool area.
No throwing things.
Yeah.
592-0683.
Greg, will you ask about the possibility of looking at that property?
Lot 1 and 2.
Lots 1 and 2?
Field trip.
Yeah, I will ask.
Okay.
Pretty confident I know what the answer is.
Yeah, but we need a definite
Yeah.
from them.
It might solve some issues. Okay?
Yeah.
At least there'll be no discussion that anything was concealed. Okay?
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a giant wetland out there, but we're not talking about, you know, it's really big.
The town, what's sad is that property was offered to the town to be purchased with CPC funds.
Wow.
And I've walked that property a few times, just been out there, and as a kid I was out there. But we could have bought that with community preservation funds, and they decided it wasn't valuable because the water drained towards Cohasset rather than Scituate, which is really was short-sighted.
I was just gonna say, what logic was applied to that?
Excuse me, we had a RDA that we never did tonight, Historic Society 16 Country Way.
Are we still continuing?
Hey, let's continue that. What the heck?
Yeah. Let's put it in
Thank God
next year, maybe they'll have better luck
You know
next
what?
year.
Given the fact that they're an historic commission, let's do it in like a time capsule.
Time capsule.
I make a motion to
January 18th.
continue. Give me a motion, will
I'm
you?
right now. I'm going
Jen-
to make a motion that we continue Historic Society 16 Country Way to January 18th. Yes.
January 18th.
Can I have a second on that?
No,
Of which year? Of which year?
2019.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All this to save Dave $100.
Oh, enough already.
Okay, order of conditions?
Wait a second.
No, hurry up.
Wait,
Bill,
Yo,
be respectful.
Did you read
Sorry.
them? Did you read them?
no, you told me to
No,
wait.
All right. I make a motion that we accept the orders of condition for 28 River Street as written.
Second?
Patrick, we good with this?
This is for River Street, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
River Street.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And obviously, we're not doing the Glades Road one, since they still have Board of Health or
Right.
something. Okay, so I don't know where you want to go to from, oh, I know. I make a motion, we accept the minutes of September 7th and 21st, 2016, as written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you can take
All
it
right,
from
so
there.
why don't we go back up to administrative items, and then we'll deal with, or do you want to do that certificate of compliance?
There's two listed there.
Ocean Ave
The first one, Greenfield Lane, is all set. This was change in ownership, and they had to do some plantings, remove debris and all that, and they did it, cleaned it up, so
All right.
that one's good to go.
This isn't the, that's not the big barn one on
No,
Greenfield,
right
okay.
across the street.
Yeah, okay.
Directly across the
Yeah,
street.
okay.
And Ocean Ave?
No.
How you doing, Sarge?
What's going on?
What's going
I
on?
couldn't find a phone over here, did you?
Did you call it?
Phone here?
Want me to call it?
Yeah.
See if it's in here. But we had a problem, it might be
Yeah.
on hold.
718-2679. No, I had a,
718?
we had a meeting earlier.
2679.
2679. Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I don't hear anything. Oh, would you have turned the volume down because of the meeting?
Probably.
Were you sitting over there before?
No, I was sitting right here.
Oh, all right.
That's right.
That was that crunching under your foot, Carol.
Sorry about that.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, see you, Sarge. Yeah. Okay, so,
Yeah, Ocean Ave, I was out there today. This was right off of Bailey's Causeway. This was a lot, and it was right next to a drainage ditch. They were gonna clean up all the invasives and plant it, and they did. It looks great. But it's supposed to be a gravel or a shell driveway, and it's paved asphalt. So that's an issue.
Kidding, they did, I didn't even notice that, 'cause the rest of the stuff, they did an awesome job.
Yeah, I know, I
mean,
get caught up
that's
looking
one
at
of
the
the
building
best
stuff.
I've seen.
It is really a
So
really
did
good
you tell them
planting.
it wasn't supposed to be paved?
When I was out there, I didn't have the plan. When I get back, I emailed them. I said, boy, the vegetation looks great, but the driveway, plus the roof drainage appears to be located underneath the driveway, so I don't know how, if there's a problem, you're gonna be able to get at the chambers.
They'll have to get there.
so they're gonna have to come back and do a,
I emailed
Post or
them
what?
and told them what the situation was. I haven't heard back. so-
Okay.
So that's definitely continued.
Yeah, they were probably distraught.
Too bad.
What number is that?
It's had a couple of different numbers.
Yeah,
Okay.
I forget what it is,
If
but
you,
it's right on the corner.
if you're coming from
Okay.
Bailey's Causeway.
The big one on the corner?
No,
No, the
next
next
one in,
one.
brand new one, the next one in.
Oh,
we were
okay.
there.
Yeah.
I was-
Yeah,
I know what you're talking
That's right, yeah.
The one in the corner is the police sergeants, or the police
Yes.
lieutenants, yeah. it's
Okay,
the
I know
next
which one you're talking about.
Thompson.
Yeah, we-
Mark.
Mark,
were there.
Mark,
Mark
yeah.
Thompson.
Yeah.
It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
they-
house, everything looked good other than that.
They did such a good job,
Yeah.
because it was a very tricky lot.
Yeah, because it was
But
right
once-
Yeah, that was that with that
In the
depressed
back.
area. and
Yeah,
all that
right.
stuff.
Yeah, right, and they really.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good for CFCs?
So, when, just talking about CFCs, I spoke to Phil Spath today about wrapping up his sons. Maybe when you and I have a second, we'll just take a look at that. He had some ideas to get that pulled together.
Yeah, we told him he can come in on the 14th too. I said, you know,
Yep.
he's
No, he's
got some stuff to do.
He's gonna try to get that done, but he asked me a few questions, and maybe if you and I have a minute, we could just take a look and see if that would put that one to bed.
I know, that's next week, the 14th.
Oh.
So we're safe, but we've got a full plate there.
On the 14th,
Especially
it's a
with lot
real,
1 and 2.
real busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell him not to come on the 14th.
No, not for that.
Yeah.
I don't think he was gonna have it ready for that.
I told him minimum of 8 o'clock, you know.
No, it might, I don't,
Be after that.
well.
He doesn't wanna come in if we're grouchy, so maybe he just wants to
Yeah.
wait.
Okay, do you want to go up top, Frank?
Sure.
Cultural guys?
Coastal Advisory, Rich is not here.
Yeah.
And I think both Rich and I missed the last meeting, so
Yes,
I'm
we
not
did.
100% sure where.
Heated discussion.
I was there.
Were you?
That's why it was a heated discussion.
Maybe that's why we weren't.
What happened?
Do you want to update us?
Quick one.
What in particular, I only focused in on the easement of Hummerock.
All right, well, we'll get some information and get back
Yeah,
to us.
probably so.
Beach committee?
Next meeting.
Nothing.
Okay. We did
We
the,
did the Boy Scouts.
yeah. So our open space plan meeting the other night, we're trying to revise our open space plan. It keeps us compliant, gives us the ability to pursue grant, I mean, there's just so many things we need this
Yeah,
open space plan for. So we're trying to revise that, and Penny
Well,
and I,
they're revising it, okay, and they.
well, with input from us.
What needs to be revised?
Yeah, we have to,
Well, 90% of the open space plan is done. They're doing the public forum. That's what Frank and I were at last week. But we were told that the handicapped accessibility, okay, the open space and recreation planners workbook, and I got a copy of it. The handicapped accessibility on the trails and such in town. So there's a checklist they give you. Well, I got the one we did in 2009. All right, we don't have a lot of handicapped accessibility in this town on trails, but we do down the Driftway. Anyways, I went through the spaces, the parts, the trails that we had listed before, and everything has stayed exactly the same. There's no change at all. Okay, so I will hand that back to them. But.
Always a but.
Well, the but is that I went through there, but we're doing the parking lots. Greg told me tonight that it definitely will be out to bid sometime in January for parking areas. And Frank and I have discussed in the past that once the parking areas are in, and they will be hard packed, right, Frank?
Yes.
Yes.
It'd be like a gravel,
Yeah.
stone dust, but packed smooth.
Okay. There are a few areas that we could have handicapped accessibility. Not the deep trails, that you can't do, but there is like in Bates Lane, down the center strip, Bates Lane proper. There possibly could be out when we do the Crosby, because that lot is way in, and it's kind of flat there before you get to Appleton Gym. Those are just some thoughts. I was on Damon today. That's pretty flat too, and we could maybe have a portal.
Right.
What I am suggesting, Frank and I contacted the Disability Committee, and their meeting tonight, of course, we couldn't go tonight. We are gonna go on January 11th, which is the second Wednesday of the month. And just tell them, nothing has changed because we have to get a sign off from them, Laura has informed me, on our part of this. Well, it's all the same. But I would like to present to them, and I think Frank would too, we do have visions, once these parking lots are in, that we would like to work with them at that point in time and put either some boardwalks in or something, so we have some small areas where, because at the moment, the only place we really have handicapped accessibility is down the Driftway Park. There is a boardwalk there out to the pier. And so
Sounds like a great
that's kind
idea.
of my suggestion, not that they asked for that in the open space plan, but
I think they want it though.
But they
So who
didn't
wouldn't
ask.
want it if we could do it?
Yeah.
But can you make a trail Partially?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can only go 200 yards or whatever.
Platform or something, yeah.
Right.
Okay, okay.
So we're gonna try to,
Is there a minimum percentage of the trail that has to be ADA compliant?
No, I don't believe so. That's the thing
Well,
that
we
we
meet-
will find out when we go there. Okay, they have never questioned,
when was their meeting?
it's
Now.
January 11th.
Oh.
Oh, tonight they're meeting, but
Yeah.
January 11th at 7:30, we're on the agenda.
Okay.
Penny, what about Teak Sherman? Is that possible from the parking lot?
No. There's way-
Little boardwalk?
Well, you'd have to do a whole boardwalk, but, you know,
It's not that far.
the thing is, I hear you. I want to explore these. I would like to let the handicapped, the disabilities, the council on disability know that once we do have these parking lots in, we would like to explore the possibilities. I was told today, some of it can get very, very technical, very, very costly. We have CPC funding that I would love to go back, you know, maybe not next year, maybe the next year, but it will take a lot of planning with the Council on Disabilities, because there are very strict guidelines that you have to go.
Yeah, when we did the marine park, we had to put a huge extension to make sure that the grade drop was, yeah.
Exactly,
right?
so there are some spots, I mean, I'd say Damon, definitely, that's nice and flat, that's already wide.
Well, in all of these, we can make a trail that goes in partially, maybe to a split in the trail or
Yeah,
base lane.
That's
There's a number of
terrific.
places that we can create some.
That's terrific.
But I think we just don't want to forget that the Conservation Commission was also the sponsor of both the trail, the Driftway Trail,
Yes.
which is accessible from Dunkin' Donuts all the way to the harbor,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, the path,
And-
trail, yeah.
And we were also the sponsor of the path from North Situate,
Yeah. And
right,
those are
along Gannett Road.
accessible.
And both of those were conservation-sponsored projects through CPC.
Yeah.
And so we probably got more miles of accessible, usable trails than,
Was all that included, Penny, in the report?
No,
that-
because they're not, that's not what they're looking for. But Frank
well,
is
I think
right.
it's good to make sure that we're noted for that.
Yes, well, we can put that in my little thing that you're
Okay.
gonna
How about-
write up.
How about
Because,
Appleton? Like when you get up there and get into a farm
well,
area?
that's what I said. Once we get that in, where the parking lot's so deep, it's something we will be looking at once these parking
Create
areas are
a
in.
parking area and then, and at least a portion that gets people to the
To
field.
the
Field,
gardens,
yes.
Yeah.
But it's all hypothetical at the moment. We have to get the parking areas in. But my
But, well,
thing was,
but when we're doing the parking areas and we're developing these plans, now would be the time to show a little bit more, and if we can build it into the contract to build these. And if not, then we'll come back and do another
okay,
one.
the funding is what.
Right, yeah.
But I just wanted, I'd like to show that we are concerned,
Yeah.
that we would like to do something. We have to be realistic. Bates Lane, except for the main route down Bates Lane,
But I'd rather meet with, like you've
Yes,
arranged, so that
okay.
we're gonna meet with their commission.
with their whole commission, not.
They might have ideas where they want you to focus your
Yeah, well,
efforts.
we have to go on the flattest areas, but Frank's 100% right, that we have
Yeah.
mile or footage-wise, however you want to go.
Right.
We've got a lot.
That should be in the open space plan
Exactly.
somewhere that that's.
Right, that we have that much,
No, we'll
yeah.
have to do
I
that.
just looking over there too for the
Yeah, but it
ADA.
would be nice just to get at least one spot in town where
The other thing,
people are actually in the
In the woods.
woods.
Yeah.
In the woods.
so the other piece of that open space
Yeah.
that I didn't bring up the other night, and I sent an
I know,
email to
yeah.
you and Pat, part of the open space plan before, our concern was, in acquiring land, was that we protected water that affected our water resources. And it was primarily tributaries and other drainage that went towards the Herring Brook and then into our reservoir. But from the last drought that we had, we know that we don't have sufficient water in town. And these are pretty layman's terms, I'm not a hydrologist or anything, but right now, all of our well fields draw on water that flows towards our reservoir. So we're draining that water before it
Before
ever
it even
gets to our
gets there,
reservoir. And if we were to think outside the box and think, both the Scituate Brook and the Bound Brook at one time had well sites along them, and either from contamination or poor water quality, they were abandoned. But when we look at drainage patterns and tributaries and whatever, we should be considering all those water bodies, because at some point, we may be back to looking at some of those locations to locate a well. And I think that's, part of this open space plan is used when we consider purchasing open space with CPC funds. And if we can show that those areas are important, outside of that, people would say, well, it doesn't matter, because that water, we're not drinking it anyways. But, in the case of, like tonight, with that land on Summer Street, that was looked at by CPC, and they decided that, town decided that through CPC criteria, was not a priority piece of property, because that water did not drain towards our reservoir. It was draining towards Cohasset. During the last drought, we now have a fire hydrant, adjoining fire hydrants at Summer Street, so that if we need drinking water in a bad situation, Cohasset's agreed to share water with us. Well, we did purchase a piece of property with the town of Cohasset. Their water board contributed $100,000 towards purchasing a piece of land in the West End. But, why wouldn't we want to protect that? It's all water that ultimately somebody's going to need, and we'd be crazy not to think that that's just as important as the water.
Gotta look at it from a different
So we want to make sure that we build that into our, it was kind of an interesting, that the group that's preparing this open space is a private consulting firm, and we were here, last week?
Yeah.
They were pretty good.
And they had, a good outline of what they were doing, and then there was input from different folks, different entities, whether it's rec or conservation or a multitude of people, and getting that input and make sure it gets built into the open space plan, so.
Peter Dillon, the hydrologist, was in this week to meet with somebody. It might have been with DPW.
Oh, good.
But I think they were looking at areas that either used to be well areas.
Well, they have a well that's off of Old Forge that was abandoned, it collapsed or something.
That might have been it.
And, that makes sense, because they don't have to re-permit that whole well.
Yeah.
To get a new well site or
Where's
well
that?
fields going. Off of Old Forge.
Where's that?
Up the top of the hill on 3A. Go to the right.
Okay, yep.
Get the top of the hill.
So that makes sense, but that's still drawing from an area that's already, we're just cutting it off before it gets to a reservoir.
Right. But if we have him involved with the town, it might be good to talk to him about other areas.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable about
I've
this stuff.
expressed those concerns to both the town administrator and to DPW, but
But it should, you're right, Frank, somewhere in there, it should state that we need to look at other areas of town for water. Yeah, we'll do that.
And then, last night, I happened to be listening to the Selectmen's meeting for a few minutes, and this wasn't on our agenda, but they brought up Appleton Field and the possibility of a different farmer using the field.
Wow.
Somebody must have approached one of the selectmen to see who could do that.
Wow.
To us first.
Well, they aren't gonna be farming anything
No.
without a road getting to it.
Right.
I mean,
But I'll try to address
It's a
that.
big parcel, too.
Yeah.
It's really a big.
Did you see the notice about the dam at Mordecai? That they're going forward with that? Yeah.
no, we're
That's gonna be
going
cool.
forward with that.
That's gonna be cool.
And
I can't wait.
actually,
They're gonna be.
I wanna be
like,
over there and
soon.
take.
So do I. I
You
wanna
should be
see
down
that.
there and take a picture of Penny when they remove that dam.
when they remove the whole dam, they're just gonna do the
That
board
damn
for the
dam.
next few weeks, they're gonna remove the
Move the boards, the lower boards, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Penny, put those
because,
boards there.
Frank, yes, I did.
She was
built the
skating
Lincoln's-
when she was a
She
kid.
built
Yeah.
Lincoln's house.
Wow.
You're talking of areas for water. Well, Jason Burtner and I were out there. Jason's from Noah. And anyways, he's working on the dam. And on Booth Hill Road, when you get to the top of the hill, going either way, well, if you're leaving the village, get top of the hill, you start, just go over the crest. If you look to the right, going towards 3A, you can see down there, there's no structure, there's something there where the brook is. And we were down there was a dam there at one time, made a bogus in this.
What was the name of the pond?
Oh, you know it, and it's on the tip of my tongue, because I just was looking at the map.
Echo Lake.
Echo Lake. Right, Echo Lake, yes. But
Echo Lake.
what I'm saying is that when we were out there, there's some rocks that need to be hand moved, which will give a better flow down towards Hunter's Pond with him. But if we ever have the water supply there, the pump house going in, which is right next to the parking lot.
Yeah, right beside you, yeah.
That will be helpful
Right.
if, not only the dam being removed, but also making it a better spillway up at the top of the hill on Booth Hill. Actually, you go down, and it was neat down in there. I had never walked down there, but it was a really neat handmade dam down there.
Yeah.
All rocks.
Right.
And now it's all grown.
What would Paul say?
Oh, well,
Everyone knows.
I don't really care, but that is something that, it goes into what you were talking about.
God put the rocks there, let him take them away.
No, I think we'd say something about we're continuing this meeting beyond what we, but you're right, it's.
We're out of what scope or.
Well,
There was an ice house.
There's definitely
There's a
scope.
picture of an ice house.
Yeah, I know,
So,
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, we have a couple of things here that we didn't discuss yet.
Nothing new on Rousseau, and I couldn't pile on Greg tonight on 25 Egypt Beach. I
He's
did
in front of
email.
that?
Yeah, he's Egypt Beach.
have they figured
Oh, no,
out
I'm
about
talking-
the soil?
Yeah. What's that?
Is the soil been sorted out?
Oh,
On Egypt Beach Road?
No.
I'm Peggy Beach.
Peggy Beach.
I'm sorry, finish Egypt Beach first.
Oh,
Three soil samples were taken the
Maybe
other
we
day.
don't have that on here yet, on this agenda,
Well,
do
we don't, but
Yeah.
go with 25 Egypt Beach right now. You
Yeah.
can tell them to plant something for the winter.
I emailed the property owner, but Greg's gotta get he's gotta get the plan in so that we can get a restoration in there, but
The restoration isn't gonna go.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about planning, I thought we talked about erosion control.
No,
You can't
you
even-
said last
seeding.
meeting,
I don't even
you
know
tell
what-
them to
You don't even know what it is. It was dry.
All right.
There's limitations, I don't think, as to what it is.
And we're gonna have 20 together.
Nothing.
It's just a bunch of
You're bad.
architectural
I
drawings.
put it in my personnel file.
Oh, is this it?
Bad. It's gonna be in the 20s.
I don't see any address
Yeah.
anywhere.
I don't see it either.
You know what, this is probably.
Where are we with Rousseau?
This is the Country Club
That's the
Circle.
Hatherley one, right?
Off of Country
Their
Club Circle.
Country Club Circle one, yes.
It's in a file beyond what we have that.
The one they want to
We
raise, right?
continued, McCarthy, 10 Country Club Circle.
Yeah.
What I should have said to the guys, you look it up.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But that's where,
And
right with
and
that.
getting, because we want to
Probably
hurry up,
should
but
submit
it's
something.
been crazy, I haven't
see
followed up on that.
No, you spare time.
But I will
So what
follow
happened out at Peggy Beach?
up. We can't discuss it.
Oh, we can't discuss
Yeah, it's not on the agenda.
All right. Oh, the pipeline. Are you gonna pipeline?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, so we did get, there was a piece from MAC. We got
Yeah, I saw
an
that,
email
yeah.
from MAC asking that the local commission send a letter to the governor opposing the construction of the gas pipeline. And it's really, I mean, everybody's got a different thought on how this goes, and I don't think it's appropriate for us to just send a letter until we've had a opportunity to discuss it.
Yeah, and Paul has to be here, obviously, so.
He might have a thought on it.
Maybe,
No.
possible, it's possible.
So I don't know how quickly that needs to happen or whatever, but it might be that,
Deadline on
it might be that you guys want to think about it. I don't know if you've got a thought or opinion or what's important and what's not, but we should,
Not Bill.
if we're going to,
Bill with an
send,
opinion.
if we're going to send a letter from the commission, it ought to be,
Well, it'd have to
Informed.
be unanimous.
Right.
So it really should be all of us.
Well, it doesn't have to be unanimous, it has to be majority.
Well, it has to, yeah. It has to
I mean,
be-
because I don't think.
or we could send two.
Well,
We could send a opposing and a,
That'd be kind of weird.
That would be kind of strange, because then how do they weigh in?
well, at least we've sent the letter.
thought about it, discussed it.
True.
Or-
Send it
or
to
we
Mac
could-
and they
we-
may
you
just
could
throw
send-
it out.
You can send the letter for and against.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
So, yeah,
I should,
yeah.
Oh, you don't read the Globe?
Ken,
No, no,
What's that?
well, I was thinking, what are we gonna do for chairperson next week for Sunset? Because,
Is Lynch gonna be here?
yeah, but he
would have to
wasn't here
read
today.
in.
Yeah, so we need to make sure
But you
that,
guys didn't really discuss much.
Right, I talked to him today about, he'd watched the video.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
But you guys can, he might just want to give it to you.
yeah.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
because you did such a good job, Bill.
Yeah, nobody continues like me, baby.
And to the
How
point.
about a motion to adjourn?
Wait a second, just make sure we're all set.
I'll make a motion to
I make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I second.
That's my.
All those in favor? Thank you, sir.